Well, if you count this as a meeting, I had 9 meetings today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Kyle's over here making 11 knives a day, but I'm just...
I got some knives heat treated today. Used my new quench plates.
What you cooking?
Some 154, and then I was heat treating for another maker, some AEBL, some Nitro V, and I had never even heard of this one before, AEBH. Apparently, it's the high carbon version of AEBL.
You can tell I'm a knife maker now. I was at work today, and somebody went, "Oh man, I'm glad you weren't hurt." And I was like, well, I better, I'm a safety guy, I guess. We got to go look at that. So I walk out, and the guy had his PPE on and everything, but we're talking about an industrial brake. A brake bends metal for our listeners. I'm sure you guys know what a brake is, but this is an industrial brake, and it's probably 15 feet wide and 25 feet tall. I mean, it handles big steel. And in it are these little bars. They're like flat stock with rounded edges, and when it goes to bend, those bars are the contact point with the steel when it goes to fold it or fold the steel. Well, one of those went pop today, and we'll see how well my mic works when I went pop today. But anyway, I guess it hit the floor, but anytime steel breaks, it there's a violent release, so to speak, to some degree. And I said, "Did anybody get hurt?" And he said, "No. He had on his apron, PPE, everything." But I said, "Okay, cool." And he held that piece of steel up. I'm like, "Dang, it looks like a sword." Da-ching. And I was looking at it, and I said, "Will that thing spark?" And he goes, "What?" Well, that thing sparked. So he got out his grinder and made him put the guard on the grinder. And he hit it, and it was sparking like crazy. And I'm like, that's got to be A1 tool steel. They have to make those pieces out of A1. And the grain structure in it was just the most gorgeous little sandy, fine grain sandy beach you'd ever seen. I'm like, that's got to be A1. So I threw it in my trunk, and I'm going to make I'm going to see if I can take a little piece of it and try and harden it. And if
it's
it
probably
hardens,
already hard.
Yeah, but I'm going to have to forge it. So I'll have to anneal it and then forge it. But I
would venture to say it's probably 4140,
which is high carbon.
Medium carbon.
Medium.
Well, damn.
Well, I'm going to.
Well, you know what? I may just beat it into a knife and know that it's going to be harder than a railroad spike knife, and give it back to him. A little integrated handle whole thing, kind of like the things Eric does. Just kind of beat something out like that and go, here's your shot.
Unless you get a Atlas knife and tool railroad spike.
That's right. Are they a sponsor of the Knife Perspective?
No, but they're a sponsor of the Midwest Knife Maker Guild. Charles is one of the board members also.
Well, excellent. So yeah, we like to support anybody that supports our guilds and groups out there. So that's wonderful to hear. So the good news is, I stay on top of making sure I use good steel with things. But in this particular case, if I make him a medium steel hardness with a hardness of 58 or 60, like Grandpa's knife, he'll probably be just as proud of it. So we'll just see how that goes.
3, 2, 1, 0.
You're listening to the Knives Templars.
I got a piece off of the wagon that Sam Houston used to take JFK to the moon.
Pinto sauce. I like that. Pinto sauce.
Pinto sauce. You're tuned in to the Knives Templars podcast, featuring Jason Fry.
Yeah, I've been just been doing what we do.
Long time listener, first time caller.
Eric T.R.E. Rivers.
Holy crap, I built something.
Mark Vasallo.
There would be a lot of places I would launch myself to.
Chip Carlisle.
We've had a raccoon come through the screen door down in the family room.
Kyle Daly, Cage Daily Knives, the Knives Templars.
Josh Varan.
I was a mean kid.
And now broadcasting Broadcasting across planet Earth, it's the Knives Templars, coming to you live from PORKHouse Studios located in Hartselle, Alabama. This is the Knives Templars Podcast. We are on air, on demand, and heard worldwide in all of your favorite apps and at theknivestemplars.com.
Well. You know, hey, I will tell you, I was listening to that opening, and I listened to a lot of podcasts this week. And as I was listening, the one thing that I noticed was there's a lot of very cool intros into these podcasts. I'm going to turn my mic down just a little bit there, see how that helps. But anyway, a lot of great intros. You know, Joe Rogan's got all day, all night, you know, Joe Rogan, you know, and then boom, you're in. You know, Knife Perspective is gotta be me, you know, a little song there at the beginning, everybody's into it, and boom, you're in. Knife Talk does the heck with you flea bags. Hey, we're Knife Talk. There. But everybody's got these cool brief openings, and ours goes on for a minute and a half. And I will tell you, I'm not always the most creative person. I used to listen to this podcast that's gone off the air. They were on for 10 years, and they had a very similar opening for a very different topic, just the way they introduce people. And I did the music with this. I was using, what is that software on Apple that you can use to make music with? GarageBand.
Logic
Yeah.
Pro.
No, but I use GarageBand, the one that you get with your computer. So I made that jingle the whole way through, and the rest of it was just sound bites and this, that, and the other. But so we'll put a vote out there. Should we keep it, or should we look for something more simple and all? I think it kind of says that's who we are, doesn't it? I can't hear a word you're saying, Mike.
You're
Mark,
muted,
you
Mark.
got it. You're on.
I think it's good though.
Unmute himself. Yeah. Well,
what were you saying,
Mark? What were you going to say?
Oh, I didn't say anything.
Your lips were moving. Your lips were moving. We saw them.
I said I like our intro. I think it's unique and you know, very specific to us.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It also introduces a lot of that cast of characters.
Yeah, and I guess with a big cast, maybe that's needed. But I'll tell you what, it was. Here's my favorite ones, and I'll rank them. I was a bad boy. I was a bad child.
Mean kid.
I love that. Yeah,
you like the mean kid.
There we go. I don't care if Otis here sent me a cease and desist. I would fight him in court for that one. I love that, especially based on the fact that he said, "I don't like that. I wasn't a mean kid. Take that off." And I'm like,
well,
no,
you know, we got a lot of distance out of that, because then we would start talking about how he wasn't a mean kid during the podcast. So it's you know,
and I still like the raccoon.
Well, I'll tell you about that one too. So then we, and then Jason's like some wood we got off of the wagon that. What did you say? What did
JFK used to take Sam Houston to the moon or something. Sam Houston used to take JFK to the moon.
I'm like, this is freaking classic right there. That's number 2. Number 3 would be, I would launch myself anywhere. A lot of places I'd like to launch myself. Now, it has to be things people actually said, because Josh Ferran, the woohoo is just, I just see Josh saying that. He's that kind of guy. But that was a sound bite of Josh. So that was a sound bite I got from something else that after I introduced him, it just sounds like Josh. Otherwise,
there's got to be something, you know, like, hey, the cow jumped the fence and ate my.
If we get it sometime, we will. But I've just got hours and hours of him saying, "I hate Priuses." Electric cars are terrible
too.
Well, yeah, he also hates Apple computers for doing CAD work.
Yes. So then there's Joey Terrio that says pinto sauce. You know, that's pretty good. So we're getting away from our top 10. I don't know if there's 10 total in there, but the raccoon came from, I had to pee real bad. And we were doing, it might have been in like a November or something, and I had to pee real bad and had to go downstairs. So because we had people over and I couldn't. It was going to take a while. So I said, we got a raccoon in there, and I went downstairs and I came back up and said something about the raccoon being gone. It's on the podcast. So then I just found some screaming animal on my sound database and did that, and that's where it came from. That's not really my favorite, even though I think it's cute. But Kyle, I actually put yours before that when it was just so simple and so organic. That's the word we use these days. Organic. That's a corporate word.
Yeah.
That Templars. I even saw you smile when you heard it this week, so I know that you kind of like it. It defines you.
Yeah. The you getting back into more of the corporate stuff. We're going to hear all sorts of corporate lingo, I'm sure.
No, sir. How do y'all like though? I went today. I had to go buy $179 key.
What?
Now, I know you want to hear.
Is
always
that a fob key combo?
Well, let me tell you. I always give you guys a hard time. I give you my Jeff Fader update. I love listening to Jeff Fader. Extremely talented. I make fishing lures. He makes knives. He makes fishing lures. I make knives. He's the boss. I'm a follower, but I like to listen to him and whatever he's raging on some week. So here we go. This is maybe we have this in common. And he would just call me a flea bag and say, no, go do you. But I was so excited. I bought a car that came with one key, got it off of Carvana. It was a nice car, 20,000 miles. It's a Nissan Versa. It gets it's averaging like 44 miles to a gallon right now. And there's enough stuff on it that it's a decent car. I like it just fine. So I said, hey, I'll get it with one key. It just comes, it's a regular key because I use a key to unlock it and start it and everything. It's old school. So, and by the way, the Jeep's sitting in the garage and it looks at me every morning and says, where are you going? I said, I'll see you on Friday. See you on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, baby. But anyway, I went to the dealership today because I found out that Ace Hardware doesn't make that year, because I found out also if you have to have one of those keys made, whether it's a fob or whatever, go to Ace Hardware, save yourself $100. They have this whole thing set up. But anyway, I went to the dealership. He came out and says $176. And I was like, it's just a key. He says, no, sir, there's a chip inside of it. I said, well, Chip be mad. Pardon the pun. The Chip be mad. And I found this out. And you can't start the key without the chip in it that's programmed to your car. So it's still programmed. It's an anti-theft device. So I don't really anybody care. I paid $20,000 for a 2024 car with 20-something thousand miles on it. I don't care if somebody steals it. I'll just buy another one. But my point is, and I don't really truly mean that, we should protect our stuff. But I was like, I told the lady at the counter, she would look like she was about my age. I said, I used to make keys at the kiosk at Kmart in high school. And somebody wanted car keys. They'd bring in their door key and their ignition key, and they'd walk away with like $1.17 with two keys. She goes, how far have we come? So anyway, real world problems. People stealing $20,000 cars require a key worth 1% or 0.01% of their total value. So anyway.
One of the guys I worked with at Navistar, he'd had a long commute back and forth from Kankakee to work. It was like 70 miles each way. And he had this super old, or not super old, but a pretty old Honda Civic, and it still had crank windows. And one of his best friends asked him to pick up his son from practice because he wasn't going to be able to make it. And the air conditioner on his Civic was going out, so he had to roll down the windows. So he told his friend's son, hey, roll down the window. And the kid's like looking for a button to push. He's like, you're like, no, you crank it. And he's like, what? And you're like, he's like, the thing on the door, you got to turn it around. And he was like, this is awesome. And then when his buddy came to pick his son up, he's like, Dad, you got to check out what's on Kevin's car. Look at this.
Get that on your next one you get, please, Dad. Get it. So I had that in my truck, and I was so glad to get rid of that. I hated having, because I couldn't reach all the way over. I have to tell people to come around. I wasn't unbuckling. And now on this car that I've got, I don't know if I mentioned, a Nissan Versa, and I have to drive about 63 miles to work each day, one way, back and forth. What's that? 126. Anyway, I have found out after 3 days of driving it, I really do like key fobs. It's kind of weird to have to go up and unlock it, unlock the front door. Now it does have the buttons to unlock it. Unlock the car so you can open the back door to get in the back. And it's like, man, it's old school. So us old guys. Speaking of old school, how do you like my old school haircut? I've got the fop back in my hair.
Yeah,
Got
very,
it
very,
cut.
very military looking.
Yeah, a
Yeah.
0.5 on the side. Got the beard trimmed. I think I'm all ready for Monday. So what have we been doing? We've come full circle, and just real quickly, so I was what is the word for it? Reduction in forced from my previous job, and I won't go into that. It's just past job, long time there. And I was so fortunate. God is great. Person of faith, and although I don't always act like it, I truly am. And so I had a friend that owns a fabrication and mechanical construction company. And I said, "Hey, have you got something for me?" Well, he gave me this great salary, and I could have worked there for the next 5-6 years, And I go in there, and they're so happy with what I do, and they're such a good family. And there's about 50 people in the company total, and they do work all over North Alabama, and it's about a 50-mile drive over there, but not a big deal. But anyway, this other company that I interviewed with right before I went to work with him came in and made me an offer I just can't refuse. And it's a financial 401k benefits decision. It's not I love where I'm at, but the place I'm going is a wonderful environment as well. The people over there are so great. It's the company I'm leaving now that I was there for 8 weeks. It's a 44-year-old company. The one I'm going to is an 80-year-old company, and they are a major contractor out of the Birmingham, Alabama area. And so I'll be going to work for them as their director of safety. That's what I do in the daytime. And I start that on Monday, and I'm very, very excited for not only this opportunity, but to do that. Here's the good news. I told my buddies at the previous company, I'm still putting his phone system in. When they're ready to do it, I'll be there on a Saturday to do it. They're still putting the computer systems in. They wanted complete computer upgrades, and I'll be there on a Saturday when the company comes to come in and put in all the new computers. And additionally, I'll continue to manage their website and their social media for them for years to come. But I do this on the side for no pay, purely as a friend. And they said, if you ever want to come back, just let us know and we'll take you. So I thought, well, that's just a blessing. So, and the fact that these gentlemen have always been close acquaintances, not friends per se, they've become very good friends. So, I think we've been blessed all the way around. So I'll continue to help them for years to come. But, and they're a company that probably does about $5 million a year or so, but $5-10 million a year. So, they're fairly substantial for a local contractor, and I look forward to helping them. I'm sorry, I'll cut that off right there. I'm ready to talk about tents, Kyle.
Yeah. That's one of the things you like to talk about.
Yeah, no tent talk. What is it? Tent Talk Tuesday. I'm going to start a podcast or a YouTube channel, Tent Talk Tuesday.
It's Thursday though.
No, I'll
Tent
do it
Talk
on
Thursday.
Tuesdays. That way, the Triple T. I'll call it the Triple T podcast, Tent Talk Tuesday. So anyway, enough of that. Mark, what have you been up to? You are so clean shaven, looking good. It must be getting close to. What's it getting close to? Because you're looking good. The wife's cleaned you up.
Like marine ball season or ball season?
No, it's not not ball season. And plus I don't know if I'll be wearing my uniform this year. Probably going to go either.
They told you no
I don't
uniform.
know. What's that?
I thought they told you no uniform. You went out and bought a tux because
on some you can wear a uniform. On others, they don't want you to. But this one, since we're members now, like we wear something special, so it's
members, you say?
Yeah, I think so. This fills the gap for Shannon. So one of the things that Shannon enjoyed in the military, she didn't enjoy moving every 2 years and all that kind of stuff, which is really what helped us make our retirement decision. But what she did enjoy is going to like the balls and the formals, and there's a lot of chances to do dress up stuff and and do that kind of cool stuff. So this actually fills that gap where you get to dress up a couple times a year and go and do some social interaction outside of wearing barn clothes and having dirt in your teeth.
You must be completely miserable as a husband having to do all that.
No, I don't remember. There is a substantial amount of alcohol involved in most of these things here in Mardi Gras.
Okay.
So
that eases the pain.
That's right. It does ease the pain. So no, I don't have that. I'll tell you, to be honest with. So I like the beard. But
thank you.
I
think I'm gonna keep it at about this length. I'm not gonna go much longer than that this time. But thank you for saying
the challenge for me though is that like I keep my hair short, but if it's long, I have pretty curly hair, and so I get a lot of ingrown beard hairs. Once it starts growing out more than like the 5 o'clock shadow. I could probably get away with what Jason's got right now, and a little bit longer than that, and then all of a sudden they curl around and start burying themselves. So
when you start to mature and your testosterone matures a little bit, your beard will come in a little bit better. And it's all about age. And
that's right. That's right. The problem is it's too thick.
Your son trying to grow a beard?
Yeah, he's gonna have a long time. he hasn't shaved for like 4 years, and I think he's almost up to Shaggy level. Shaggy and Scooby. If you ever seen him, he's almost there.
I love it. It's like you understand those young lions when they grow their beards and they got those kind of scraggly looking manes, and it's kind of like, I guess that's just the way nature works. It's like you got a few years to go, buddy, before that thing kicks in.
And he's good with it too. We goof around with him, and he'll laugh about it. So he's your look right now.
Your look right now reminds me of, you don't talk about the Lufthansa robbery, or you're going to end up on a hook in a meat truck. You don't know where that comes from.
No, not one bit.
me either.
Jimmy had everybody murdered.
Struck out, Chip.
Ice pick in the back of the neck. Shot.
Sounds like some mafia movie, though.
You didn't see Goodfellas? Everybody's seen Goodfellas.
Oh yeah. No, I've seen Goodfellas. Yeah. It's just been a long time, though.
The guy that you should know every line to Goodfellas. It was the guy that was hanging on the hook in the meat truck, frozen.
Yeah, my relatives say try not to memorize the mafia stuff.
Yeah, I watch.
Too authentic.
What was Tony Soprano's right hand guy? Not Paulie, the other one, the young guy. Dun, 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 dun,
he killed him, though, right? Didn't he beat him up or take him out?
No, they had a car wreck, and I watched him for like the 300th time today in all these years. He choked him and suffocated him again. 300 times I've watched that, and he just kills him every time. You'd think one time he could just give him a little break.
There you go.
Yeah.
You don't ever go back and watch movies to see if the ending changes, Jason?
I do that with my Fortune Fire episode a lot, actually, to see if they change it where I win. They still haven't changed it, though. I keep losing at the end.
No check at the end?
Nope.
You're always number one in your mommy's heart. Your mommy, you're a winner.
Yeah.
You're a winner. She loves you for that. Your dad was proud of you.
I think the only movies that's done that has been Star Wars. They changed around with the enhanced version and made Han Solo shoot first and stuff like that with the Greedo fight scene.
That's right. That's right. You like to talk about Star Wars a lot, don't you?
I like Star Wars. A little bit less of a fan of some of the newer stuff, but
I like tents.
I still like it.
I
got a really cool piece of Star Wars memorabilia.
Yeah, that was cool. Tell everybody about that.
Got a little piece of chainmail that if you're up on your Mandalorian watching, Grogu, the baby Yoda Mandalorian that's with them, he gives him some Beskar chainmail to help keep him safe. They made a shirt out of it, and some of this chainmail was made into a big piece, and then they made the shirt from that, and I ended up with a small piece of the piece of it. So pretty roundabout way to get it, but it's super cool. Thank you to my friend that gave it to me. So yeah, he goes, kept telling him, if you ever decide to get rid of that, let me know. And he goes, dude, you've done so much for me. It's going to mean a lot more to you than me. So it was really nice of him to pass it along.
Yeah,
I can see the look on Jason
really
Fry's
cool.
face, though. I can see the look on Jason. What are you thinking, Jason?
I was wondering what kind of knife you're going to make out of it.
Exactly. Jason's going, if I could just get a piece of Han Solo's,
if I could get Han Solo's blaster tip or something, or Millennium Falcon.
Yeah, and that piece of
hyperdrive parts, or
No, Emily could cast that in a scale, and then you can have, Beskar, resin scales.
Kyle has this disgusted look on his face, like, guys, would y'all just shut up?
Why would you destroy such a priceless treasure? Yes,
exactly.
Yeah. So the guy that made it was Tony Swatton, the Sword and Stone. Apparently, he's made like most of the armor and stuff for a lot of Hollywood, lots of knife making stuff. Also, he's a ABS Mastersmith.
Oh wow!
So. Yeah, so the Sword and the Stone is his Instagram thing.
I'll check that out.
Yeah.
And I was going to say that you guys need to also check out TR Maker. He's been around since 1980 over in Istanbul, Turkey. But I tell you what, he's one of my very, very, very good friends. And anytime I order a new tool or a product from TR Maker, and you can find him at tr-maker.com. It's here in just a couple days because he ships everything DHL. They do all the customs in the air, and by the time it hits the ground, it's on the way to your house. Matter of fact, I've ordered on a Thursday, picked up something on a Sunday or a Monday right at my front door. So if you're looking for great knife making tools, and they will up your game, go to tr-maker.com. There you go. So, Jason, how's the new shop?
The new shop is a rectangle with 4 little flags at the corners and a plan.
Have you put any equipment out there yet? Or at least,
No, I don't have anything. I did put a culvert in, so I have a driveway to the place where my shop will be.
Good.
I think I'll get my plans from the company in about another week and a half. And it should be another 3 or 4 weeks after that when they deliver the kit, which is a giant
You're gonna
bolt
put
together.
In a steel structure?
Mm-hmm. Yep, for sure.
Good,
metal building.
Good. Actually, you don't have to worry about something burning down or something getting away from you.
That thought crossed my mind. It's like, if I build this out of wood, it could go south real fast. So yeah, building a metal building. And I like Chip's talking about his job. I started a new job, a few months ago now, but I said at the time that I figured it would be pretty tough, and it turns out I'm pretty good at figuring. It has been borderline ridiculous. Just because it is. I mean, that's what I signed up for. They, unlike some of us who get paid to do nothing, wink, wink. I'm not going to out you, man. You can out yourself. Unlike some of us who do well, my job is human services, and people always misbehave, right? So I'm never kind of like people in geriatric services or law enforcement or trash collection, or there are some jobs where the job just never stops, just never goes away.
Mortuary.
Yeah, they're dying to get in. That's what I hear.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So
compared
the job
to your
is
job
keeping me busy.
Compared to up in North Texas, what is the? Is it noticeably more busy, or is it
Oh yeah, definitely more busy. So I was working from home, consulting with people that have the job that I have now. So I was kind of like the out of town guy that would just swoop in and be like, "Yeah, all these things suck," and then I get to go home, right? But now I'm the guy that's responsible for fixing them all, and I think I'm one department out of about 800 employees. I've got about 35 of them. I cannot fix a system that big by myself in 3 months. So
no,
dealing with all kinds of other people's problems and some of my own as well.
Knife making
That's OPP, right? Other people's problems. OPP. Isn't that what that song's about?
I'm sure that's what it's about. Yeah.
I don't think that's what it
gangster
stands
rap
for.
always
Mark,
deal with other people's problems.
The thing is, it's a journey. It's not a race, and as long as you can show progression, you're getting there.
For sure.
Just find a way to measure it.
Speaking of how come I hadn't made any progress, my knife shop has been in pieces at my cousin's house for 3.5 months now. And I'm finally, now that it's not 5,000 degrees, I'm finally getting to go over there. And I'm at least going to get my grinder set up, hopefully, Saturday, so that I can start doing some stuff again. I miss my stuff doing. I don't have a place. Don't have a place to go. Don't have anything to do. I can't tinker. There's no tinkering at my house right now. So
you're doing a lot of fishing. You're doing a ton of fishing.
I have been I have been fishing some, but not as much as even though I'm 3 miles from the boat ramp and it's awesome on purpose. I don't want to drag the boat out every night and go get all sweaty and gross and then get the kids back home after bedtime. And, I can't do that every single day as much as I love it.
There's some people that do that every day.
Some days there are, but, days like this where I'm saying I had 8 or if this is a meeting, I had 9 meetings today.
Yeah.
And I don't want to do anything, any effort. I can complain about work on a podcast. That's
true.
True. I got a question there, Jason.
Yeah, you bet.
One of the engineering, or a lot of the engineering meetings that I was in, I would say probably 70% of all the engineering meetings I ever was in could have been an email. How many of those meetings you were in today could have been an email?
Probably 3. I was dealing with a couple of personnel issues that were a little too complex for email. And then I was doing a huge paperwork review committee or 2.
The best was when we would have a director that would say, I need an update on this. And then we'd have a meeting to put together the email to send to the director.
Oh, geez. An email for a meeting. Wow. Well, we sometimes have meetings about the meetings before and after. So we'll have a meeting and then have the meeting and then have an after meeting. That's a thing.
It is a thing. I've
I've said before, government inefficiency is not all about $10,000 screwdrivers, man. There's inefficiency built into every piece of the system: personnel, hiring, firing, documentation,
I have
job tasks.
In support of meetings, right? There were many times in the Air Force and the city when I worked for the city that somebody brought up the option of saying that, hey, do you want to get rid of this meeting? Because the information, is slide type information. You can get a slide deck, or you can, whatever it was. But there was in some meetings, there was a lot of value with all the pre and post discussions that you get to have that you don't see these people on a regular basis sometimes, right? And so you get, plus you get a lot of nonverbals about, you bring up something and then you see the person raise their eyebrow, which you don't get in an email. And so
that's fair.
We were very picky about, because time is money, and very valuable because you don't get extra. But there were some that, it just pained me to say that, as the guy that said, yeah, we still need to do the meeting because there's so much side value out of it.
Yeah, I'm that way too. I mean, we can talk trash about it and believe in the value of some of them at the same time. So
there you go. All right.
One of the ones I did today was a paperwork review, and there's nothing fun about that. You can do it on email. but they don't get the level of feedback or the level of clinical insight from from notes on a Word document that they do from listening to somebody explain. Well, this is what I really meant.
That's right.
We sound a little
And
whiny.
I guess knife making is that way too.
There we
Segue.
go.
Look at
There
that.
we
Wow,
go.
that was good. You're
was waiting for you to
you're a seasoned
bring it on
podcaster.
I'm a seasoned. I salt and pepper like my beard.
Waiting for you to bring it
But
in.
knife making is like that, though. There are things where, I write knife making books, but there are things you'd never learn, even in spite of my best efforts to write it well. There are
So
things
when
that
I
you learn
come
better
to-
from being with a person.
Instead of
an
coming
actual person.
to Atlanta in June, I'll just send you a memo with 4 pictures of knives for y'all to judge, and you guys can just respond back to me and let me know how they turn out.
Even during COVID, when the whole universe was shut down, we didn't do that. Sorry, Chip. Because you're right. We can, there's value in, even what we're doing here, we're just talking, sure, but we can see each other's faces, sharing our lives and our stories.
Right.
That's better than just an email.
It is.
Better than a YouTube video. So,
Yeah. With the engineering, some of it's literally just showing the data. So,
Yeah.
I guess some of those a lot of those meetings were explaining what the data actually meant to higher ups, but yeah, there was a lot of it where it's just like, just read the first paragraph and you're good. The thing passed.
A lot of
You're
people
good.
just show up for the bagels, and I think that meetings need to be only as long as they need to be, and they need to be professional, concise. They need to be a human, a few nice words and this, that, and the other, but convey the information that everybody needs to hear so we can get some feedback and then move on. A lot of times meetings just are meetings to be had. That's all they are. But
the bad thing about engineering meetings is there's like no food ever.
Oh, really?
Marketing and all those ones seem to get all the food. Engineering meetings, they're like, there's no
You'll spill
coffee,
something on the
there's
paper.
Yeah. I don't know. They don't cater in food and stuff for those meetings.
Yeah.
We know in state government, if we have food at a meeting, it's because we brought it. Like as a manager, I try to bring a bag of candy or something once in a while. Can't do it every time. Mostly just always it takes too long to go to the store. Like I
was a bagel guy.
Stuff. But bagels.
Up north, I was a bagel. Up north, I was a bagel guy. Bring those to meetings. But when I moved down to South Alabama or moved up to the South to Alabama, I showed up with bagels at a meeting when I first started there in 2008. And everybody's like, what's wrong with these donuts? So I realized.
Yeah, exactly.
Down south, people don't eat bagels like they do up north. So I had to switch. And I found out they don't like what is the donut brand? Dunkin'. They don't like Dunkin' Donuts. They like Krispy Kreme. They just want Krispy Kreme. So that's how you win people's hearts over. Chick-fil-A and Krispy Kreme in the South. You know how you win people's hearts over?
That is fair.
And all over the world in knife making is if you go to evenheat-kiln.com, they make one of the best kilns out on the market. As a matter of fact, if you say Even Heat out there, people will know you're talking about the kiln of choice. They're precise. They've got great controllers. They've got different configurations that you can purchase, whether it's the controller or the kiln itself, that will help to adapt it perfectly for your needs. And if you're not just a knife maker, they sell all other types of kilns. So let those guys over at Even Heat Ovens help you pick out the right kiln from you. And after you do that, head over to Pop's Knife Supplies, and you can find them at popsknifesupplies.com and purchase your kiln from them. And while you're there, they've been doing this for 40 years. Even Heat's been around too, but Pop's been around for 40 plus years, probably like 43 years now. And they're run by Alan Searles, Joey Berry, and Dirk Lutz, and they provide some of the best knife making products. And there's just about nothing that you want that you can't get there. Little update on Alan Searles, how communication with him this past week says he's improving and doing better. So guys, keep praying. Alan can use it, and I'm glad to hear he's coming around. And when you order something from Pops, we'll jump back into that. they're only going to charge you the actual shipping cost. So if your shipping's $15, you get a little email back and it'll be on your invoice. They'll subtract the balance or the difference between the actual shipping cost and what they charge you, so that they're not marking it up and taking that for themselves. So check out popsknifesupplies.com also. We're transitioning back into the podcast now.
We're going to talk about knives?
What are we going to do now? Whoa.
I got
Go ahead, Kyle.
I got some interesting news. It's been so in the last episode I talked about going to FabTech, and one of the booths I stopped at was the 3M booth, and I was talking to one of their sales guys and telling them that they really need to make some more of the PSA 9-inch discs for the disc sander, because I really miss those. But one of the other people overheard me talking to the guy, and he came over, and we had a really good conversation about a lot of things. He was talking about a bunch of Cubitron 3 stuff. That's their new abrasive grains that they're really trying to push out. And I had mentioned to him about the Knife Perspective podcast, and trying to have a sale, or there was a product engineer that I was talking to a couple of years ago, and he was really interested about coming on the podcast. And then for whatever reason, he got told to not do the podcast. But I've been talking to him, or this 3M guy, ever since the end of the FabTech, and he's sending me about 70 different belts to try, and a bunch of other Scotch-Brite wheels and 2-inch discs and stuff. So I'm gonna be outfitted with 3M abrasives for the next
wow.
That's pretty serious.
Yeah. So he wants some feedback, and was very impressed with me giving him actual like data that they can bring back to their product people. Not like I was telling him what surface feet per minute I run my belts at, and not just giving him a percentage of the grinder speed or whatever, that when he talks to most other knife makers. So he was extremely happy, and hopefully we'll be able to get some good stuff out of that.
So really, you got into that deal because you're a nerd? Is that right?
A big one.
A big nerd.
Yeah.
It also does knife making.
Yeah,
that's actually how I got my job as well. So.
Yeah, one of the coolest ones was, and I took a whole bunch of them, but I think I showed you this last time, but VSM was giving away these little microfiber glass, or things to clean your glasses and stuff, but looks like the Actorox, and then it's even has like the 36 grit, and then their stuff on the back, like the sandpaper. So that's awesome. Yeah, that's been pretty fun, pulling out a little. I'll just clean my glasses with this 36 grit here, and but that's been pretty fun. It's I think I mentioned it before we were recording that it's apple cider season up here, one of my favorite times, and having one of the drinks that reminds me of my mom the most. She always made this one called an apple up, so it's half 7-Up, half apple cider, mixed appropriately, and it just always is really good. It has a little bit of bubbles, some apple cider, a little bit of the citrus. Really nice drink if you're not wanting to drink something that's alcoholic. So
my mother has been gone a year in October, and I've had a hankering for some of her potato salad. And I don't know what it was about my mom's potato salad, but whenever there was a family reunion event, people always requested that she bring that. So I actually got her recipe, and this weekend I was going to make some. So yeah, I can. It's nice when you have a memory that ties into something like that. So that's cool.
Yeah. I had an aunt that she made this unbelievable overnight salad. Have you ever heard of this, where you like lettuce, and then you usually do some sort of like mixture of broccoli, cauliflower, bacon.
Yeah.
Or the bacon usually goes on the end, but it has some like creamy sauce, and usually let that marinate overnight and then put it on top. And she goes, "You really have to be a really darn good cook for them to always ask you to bring the salad to all the get-togethers and stuff." So they're like, "No, we really do like it." And she's like, "Okay, you don't have to play."
Hey, could you tell Jason to quit washing the clothes? Jason, are you washing clothes?
I am. Can't you hear it going wow, wow, wow in the background?
No, we can't hear it at all. He's sending us a little
I'll just have to
message
make that noise. I'll make that noise for you periodically, just so you'll know what it's like at my house.
You're a seasoned
so many good sound
podcaster.
bites for the intro.
We can't even hear it. That makes you a seasoned podcaster. I think that's I think this is episode like number 90, if I'm not mistaken. So episode 9 is dedicated to you.
We are all seasoned podcasters at this point.
The seasoned podcaster. Yeah. Kyle, you must get these. I get several emails a week about somebody wanting to grow our podcast to Joe Rogan stats. It can find us thousands and tens of thousands of listeners. And I've never clicked on it. But the thing is that they all want to do that. And I think I'll start responding to them that way. And we don't need you. We're seasoned podcasters. But they always compliment us on the number of podcasts we've had.
I always get the SEO optimization for my Cage Daily Knives and Knife Perspective websites, and it's always amazing to me. So both of our podcasts are very niche podcasts, so it's not like I mean, there are some episodes that probably have a lot more wide appeal than other ones. The Laren Thomas one that we just posted is probably one of those with for some knife collectors and stuff like that may be interested in the knife steel. But in general, most of ours are.
Did Laren mention that he's having a hard time getting on our podcast, Knives Templars?
No.
Oh, okay. I was just wondering.
Do you want me to see if I can? He doesn't like to do podcasts very much.
No, we're fine.
Laren likes to. He's a little bit more of a solitude guy, so he says he has to kind of amp himself up to get ready for a podcast. So
it doesn't even put his face on the YouTube videos.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like slides, and which I like, but it's surprising because when I saw him at your booth during Blade Show, I never knew what he looked like, and I was like, "Well, who's this kid?" I was like, "Hey, do you want me to tell you about knives?" And so, and eventually, you said, "Oh yeah, that's Laren Thomas." I was like, "That's the Dr. Laren Thomas." Yeah, okay. Now I feel really.
The Magna Cut shirt didn't give it away.
Well, I mean, every knife enthusiast would wear a Magna Cut shirt.
But he's a good guy, and it was like right at the end of the show. He stopped by the table, and so did Sean Houston, Triple B Handmade. Both of those guys are real inspirations to me, doing a lot with the metallurgy side of the everything. Sean does a lot of the Katra sharpening and stuff. He also does a lot of heat treating stuff in his own right. So he did the specialized heat treat for or is it 15V, I think was the steel for Spyderco. All of the 15V series knives that they've been doing have had his Triple B, the big brown bear is what that stands for. His little Triple B logo, fear no steel is his one of his like taglines. So he does like super duper trying to get the maximum performance out of it. And even when Sean goes down the rabbit hole on some of these like carbides and stuff, Laren's like, "Yeah, I believe you. You know way more about that particular subject than I do." But it was really cool getting to talk to both of them, and both I am very glad to be called friends. So
Yeah, that is nice, and I've had a few words with him. He's a very very nice person. For some reason, my interest doesn't run into the knife science, though. I like the steels that I like, and I know that they'll harden. I follow the recipes now that I've got an even heat oven. Thank you very much. Follow the recipes for getting them hardened and check them on the other side of the temper, or excuse me, of the hardening, and then I temper them, and I'm good with that. And I don't know why I don't get excited about the knife steel and all that stuff. It just hasn't grabbed me. I don't want to make a knife and break it in half and look at the grain structure.
Well, sometimes you don't want to. It just happens.
Mm-hmm.
True. Well, and I've done it
crap,
that way.
I've got this 2-piece knife. I might as well look at the grain structure. Yeah.
Well, I've done that before. And I'm not criticizing that because I kind of envy people that are. I love listening to you when we talk about, or even Mark when when I was talking to Mark about I was heat treating at 1500 or something like that. And Mark's like, no, it's supposed to be 1510 or something. I don't remember exactly. It might have been 1480. And you were like, supposed to be right at 1500. I'm like, yeah, whatever. And I went and read it, and it's like, oh yeah, it is 1500. So I put it at 1500, and I couldn't tell the difference, but at least I knew from a QC standpoint, I was doing it right.
Yeah. It was really interesting hearing some of that stuff with the different steels, and then Laren and Pops working together to come up with ProCut to have a more interesting steel to go in to be shiny instead of 15N20. Laren was talking about that on our podcast, where it really grows the grains and doesn't have any real edge performance, but it, like, everybody uses it to fold into the Damascus and stuff. So having some ProCut in there, you actually have some steel that has some good properties to go along with whatever you're folding it in with.
Yeah, the interesting. Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, I just saw that Joey Berry today, they launched a whole series. They've got a bunch of ProCut knife blanks, chef blanks. It's probably other knives as well, but they were showing on Facebook. Luke was posting that you can go out there and get those ProCut blanks already cut out. So it's kind of nice. Joey's got some really nice, really classical looking knife designs that you can go out and just start grinding them. Go ahead, Mark. I cut you off.
Yeah, no, it's good. One of the things. So it's interesting. I was, listening to. I don't know if it was an older one, or I think it's pretty new. Laren Thomas just put out another. The Knife Steel Nerds YouTube. He did a question and answer. One just recently. And the thing that I guess I hadn't been realizing. So I like the knife steel stuff. I don't know enough about it, but I enjoy listening to stuff. And the thing I'm learning more and more about is that it's more than just hardness and toughness, which you see those two diagrams. But then it's the third piece, which is wear resistance, or how it wears, right? And so when he was talking about ProCut and comparing it to like 52-100, which really has, you can get it pretty hard and has a pretty, high, high toughness, and you can kind of, heat treat it in the right area, but its wear resistance is really poor. And I don't have all the carbides, probably because it has large carbides, and I think that makes it have poor wear resistance, if I get that right, or right into the podcast if that's completely wrong. But yeah, and so ProCut, and so some of these things are solving some of those problems of same thing with 15 and 20. Some of those problems with it, but I guess I never thought about, because you always see the diagram with just those two axis, or not axis, but two lines on the toughness and hardness ratio. But I never really thought about the wear resistance piece of that, and so just another factor to put in there. But very, very interesting.
Yeah, he was talking about ProCut and how it pins grain boundaries.
That's right.
I had heard of some of that, but I didn't really. And Laren said it a really good way for how to kind of think of it, but those bigger carbides make like a wall. So when those grains are like, whenever you break the knife and you want to see that real silky, smooth grain, but on ProCut, the reason it has such a big heat treating window is when those grains start to grow, it hits those carbides that it develops, and the grains don't grow. So it helps force them to have that bigger temperature range that you can heat treat and still be okay with. So.
Yeah. It was nice that he said that it's a good steel that it could be general use in forge, heat treat, and everything. However, when you start looking at the charts, you can really dial it in if you have an oven and make it a higher end, steel, better than, some of the general forging steels. So yeah, it's an interesting, if you need it, if you're not making a knife that needs that, or somebody who wants to buy that, then I don't know if it's, whether it's worth the expense or not worth the expense, but but I got a bunch of steel that I'm going to use up, but I'm going to buy some when I'm, next time I'm at a place that I don't have to pay shipping, I'll buy it, next blade show or something like that. I'll buy some sticks of that, and, maybe the next fancy thing just to try it out.
Well, it also has some corrosion resistance too. So
yeah,
that's one of the other good things, where a lot of the forging steels don't really have any corrosion resistance. So
yeah,
you may have to pay shipping, but I tell you what, it's like not having to. If you go to phoenixabrasives.com, you can see some of the great offers that they have on prices, selection, quality, quick delivery, whether it's belt, disc, rolls, wheels, and anything else. I know Sean and Greg and the whole team over there and the owner will do what's right by you. And a matter of fact, doing right by you is putting in Templars 10 at checkout and getting 10% off your next order. That pays for more than your shipping. So go out and check out phoenixabrasives.com.
Depends on how many belts you're buying, though.
That's right.
I assume they're going to do like me and spend about, $500 on belts. I guess, okay. You have to do your math, but it's still 10% off.
Yep, 10% definitely helps. Better than 0%.
$500 worth of belts would be $50 off, right?
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
Go out and buy $500 worth of belts. Yeah, go out and buy $500 worth. I'm a safety engineer. Band-Aids, baby.
It doesn't take much to buy $500 in belts anymore.
No, you're right. You're right.
I have
why, Go ahead.
Yeah. Especially when you're buying a bunch of those ceramic belts.
Yeah, that's what does it.
That's going to be one challenge for me getting back in. Even when you're not really making stuff, you've got belts and crap in the corners of your shop that you can make do with. I got rid of all of those things. Like I don't think I have any belts left at all. I have to start over from scratch.
Would you like me to send you some half-worn ones?
Not yet. Not yet. I'm going to have to start over.
Yeah, I've got a little ring in my shop that how the belts come to you all centered with each other and folded up and in the box. Mm-hmm. And then you hang them on something. Well, I've got these series of hooks that I hang them on, and I've got hooks by types of belts. And then I have the hook that's all the mixed belts that I still may go back to for this, that, and the other. And I try to stay away from that as much as possible working on a knife, because I have, I found out that a sharp, newer belt does such a wonderful job. But none of us can want to throw a belt away. So we're going to go back to that one. And there's places you can use them, but you're going to go back to that belt. And I was doing an IP handle this past week, and I wanted to use one of those older belts because I typically will do that on wood, but I'm like, I'm going to burn this handle. It was, blonde color. So I'm going to burn this handle.
Well, IP is pretty hard, right? Isn't that pretty hard?
It is. It's very hard. Yeah, very hard.
So you could burn it or something, right? If you...
I didn't want to burn it.
You need a sharp belt to cut it, right?
I actually use ceramic belts to work on it rather than use anything else, because I didn't want to risk burning into that wood.
So I'll tell you, I have some aluminum oxide belts that I bought. Like I bought a bunch of them because they were the cheapest, thing I can buy. When I first got my grinder, and I still have them. And I'll tell you, they were great for wood. I mean, I have my eraser, I kind of, clean it out and make sure that, I kind of get the, if it gums up a little bit, but they stay sharp and fresh. I mean, for when I'm not using them on steel, but when I'm using them on wood, I love them. And then I have some. Once those are done, I bought a set of the blue zirconia ones that are cheap, a little bit cheaper than ceramics, but I use one, and I love those. So I think although it's probably easier just to kind of keep one standard type of belt in there. I don't know. I really, on the wood, I like the, that those aluminum oxides work great, and then those blue zirconias seem like they're going to work out good. Anybody else have any experience with the compare wood compared to the steel?
I run
ceramics?
the cheapest AOs I can find for wood.
Yeah,
I've kind of always figured, especially something like desert ironwood or Cocobolo.
Yeah, it's going to
clog up whatever the heck belt you use on it. So you might as well gum up a cheap one.
That's right.
When it comes up on, some of the composites, the homemade micarta kind of stuff, I mean, some of that stuff's real gummy. And you might go through 3 belts just to get a handle shaped. But when you're buying them for $2.50 a piece, it doesn't hurt as bad.
Yeah.
I use the 60 and 120 grit zirconia blue belts almost exclusively for doing my handle stuff. I find that I go back and forth between wood and micarta a lot, and especially on the micarta, those Zerk belts really seem to last quite a bit longer and be able to clean them out with the eraser and stuff like that. But yeah, I like those the best. And at a point, you get to it's like you have so many different types of belts that you try to all right, I only want to stock.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. So
may have to try that. What grit do you said 60, Kyle? What grit do you use on handle stuff, Mark?
So I have I think I have I have 60s. Yeah, I have 60s and 120s.
Okay.
So in my aluminum oxides, I've been using 60s and 120s, and then I have the Klingspor, what do you call it? Serrated edge or scalloped edge?
Scalloped.
Yeah, scalloped edge. And so I have a bunch of those that go from 220 up to, I think I have 220, 400, and a couple 600. And so, depending on which ones, if I want to hand sand more or not, sometimes, I'll go to those after the 120 zirconias or aluminum oxides. I go to those Klingspors.
Yeah, those scallop belts for if you have flowy handles like I do. Those really save a lot of time with the hand sanding. I don't usually go. I usually use a 220 for the scalloped ones, and I don't usually, or if it's wood, I don't usually go above that because I find once you go over 220 on those scallop belts and stuff on handles, they just fill up with stuff way too quickly.
Real fast,
and I feel like I don't really save any time cleaning the belt and doing it over and over again versus just kind of getting the 320 hand sanding.
No, you're right. I bought a whole bunch of the 1-inch ones, so I have this huge stack of those because they were so cheap. Yeah. And so probably when I run through there, because I do find out, even if I go up to the higher grits on those Klingspors, when I go to hand sand, I find out there's a couple of scratches in there that I have to back down and get to a lower grit anyway. And so, it's probably just as fast not to use them.
Yeah. I really love doing that. One of the things with hand sanding after the scallop belts, I have a piece of 1/2-inch felt that's like 3 inches by 4 inches, and I put the sandpaper on that and use that to as a backer, and that really saves your thumbs from getting blisters and stuff like that.
That's a great idea.
Yeah. So, yeah, I got that piece of felt from Rockler Woodworking. One of the guys there told me about that trick for sanding different shapes and stuff. They would actually shape the felt in different shapes, but I just use it as a. It's super
Sanding
hard.
block.
Yeah, it's super hard, so it doesn't deform too terribly much, but it's not. You're not getting the blisters on your thumbs and stuff. And when you
Mhm.
have 10 or 20 or 30 knives that you have to hand sand because you were an idiot and waited till blade show and you have all your knives and hand sanding handles at the same time. So
Yeah, I'm in prime hand sand. I just finished up because I'm doing these 6 knives and I do them all in a row. So now I was doing this weekend, this past weekend, I did all the handles, handles. And so, I just dumped out my pail of pieces of sandpaper. But I've been using I have those abrasion resistance gloves that I use sometimes when I'm doing that I have, for different things. But I put those on because I was, getting blisters on my thumbs. I was like, oh, now you don't have as much feel with them. But I was like, well, that's kind of nice. I don't wear my hands out. So, I don't know. Maybe I'll start doing that some more.
yeah, I've been trying to find a place where I can find that felt in bigger pieces and like cut it down. But
Yeah.
I haven't been able to find any place that has it for what I feel like is a reasonable price.
How thick is it again?
It's like a 1/2 inch thick.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that is thick.
I have a piece of that was given to me by a mastersmith to use as a platen backer. So like I'll throw a piece of leather on mine, or some people use that graphite stuff to give it just enough give to potentially wash stuff out. Yep. And my shop space was limited enough. I didn't want 72 different tool arms. So I still have it. I haven't done anything with it. Yeah. But I can give the guy's name. He can tell you where he got it from 7 years ago when he gave it to me.
Yeah. I know a lot of people put cut like a piece of used Scotch-Brite belt to put it behind the belt to give it some give also. That's a trick I've heard quite a few people say.
Yeah, I just use a piece of leather back there, put a little hanger on the top so I can just hang it on my platen.
That's what I have.
Pull it off so I can change it back and forth real fast.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
How do you make the hanger?
I just sewed.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. On mine, I just sewed a double thick piece of leather to the top of it. And then it just kind of like, I put it on my platen. So it's on the top, it's as thick as my platen and it hangs down. Yeah. And so I'm going to do another one. So I'm going to have a piece on the bottom and the top because, there are times if I was going to, run it reverse or something, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Then you can
I've just used a little piece of brass or stainless sheet and made a little hook and riveted it to the leather.
Gotcha.
And then when you forget it's there and run it in reverse, it all launches everywhere. And
That's right. That's what happens. Yeah.
That's how it goes.
When do you ever run your grinders in reverse?
Sharpening.
When I want to put metal back on.
That's right.
Got you.
No, just about sharpening is about the only time. But
yeah. I don't know. I just sharpen mine running forward. What's wrong with that?
It's just a chance that you can cut a belt, I guess. I don't know.
Sometimes when you're sharpening, you want to have that apple seed convexity. So if you're running it away from you, you can get a little bit more of that belt flex.
Oh, really?
Where if it's running the other way, you're running into the sharp edge instead of away from the sharp edge. Kind of like stropping.
I'll have to try that. Yeah, I have the ability to do it. I've just never done it.
I watched something too, as somebody said that I can't exactly remember what they were explaining, but they said that like when you're running belts, this was the case for a disc grinder, right? Like for doing stuff with the disc grinder, is that when you're doing belts and you're pushing your blade up against the belt, that the belt actually kind of bunches up a little bit, because it's spring loaded on the top and then the motor's pushing it in, and so it's always very minutely, but it's kind of like rippling in front of it. And then, so
is the
when
motor
you're running
pushing
in reverse,
it, or is it pulling it?
What's that?
Is the motor pushing?
Depends
or
on
pulling?
If you're running in reverse or not.
That's right.
No. Even if you're running in
I know
forward,
it could be pulling it from the bottom. I guess what you're saying, but I guess how they were showing the diagram.
The friction's going to be where it's feeding in right there. Yeah, so there's probably going to be some small amount of bunch up right there. That makes perfect sense. I just never wanted to sit and start adjusting the motor to compensate for it going back or sending my belt so far over to the left or right.
Like for me, like it is very minute. I know they said you have to, you have the adjustment screw on the motor mount, but like when I run it in reverse, it is maybe like a 1/4 inch, and then I turn it once or twice on that motor adjustment. And then, when it's going forward, my motor and the frame is even. If you have an Amera blade, you know what I'm talking about. The two pieces of metal are even. And so when I run it in reverse, it goes off a little bit. But then when I put it back and forward, I just kind of make those two pieces of metal even again. So, hard to visualize if you don't have the Amera blade set up. But yeah, so at first I was worried about it because I didn't want to mess up the adjustment of the motor. But now that I started doing it, it's pretty quick.
Oh, maybe I'll just do it next time. I think I did it for probably 3 or 4 times after I bought that blade sharpener, knife sharpener attachment, and then I was like, "No, that's not worth it. I'll just do it the other way." I always kind of finish up on a little stone and a strop anyway, so it didn't bother me. I'm a stoner.
Yep, I usually use a stone most of the time, also.
Yeah. So, before we ask, I'm going to mention Broadbeck Ironworks. You can find them at broadbeckironworks.com. And Ryan's just got one of the best grinders out there on the market, and accessories and tools for everything. He's even got a pneumatic hammer. You need to take a look at it. He was putting some video out of it today, and grab one of their packages. You can either get them painted, unpainted, VFDs if you want, accessories galore, and just see which one's right for you. So go out and visit broadbeckironworks.com and find yourself a good grinder. So I assume you can run your grinder in reverse. What's that?
Are they still making a stainless version?
No. They only made 3 of those, I think he said. I thought he said they made 5 of them, but apparently they only made 3. Me and this guy, he's kind of a newbie. Jay Nielsen has one of them.
Haven't heard of him.
Ryan said he doesn't remember who had the 3rd one. So, but Broadbeck also is one of the only knife grinder companies that I know that sells OSHA compliant guarded machine also. So
take that into your business
facility. Yeah, if you have a facility, a fabrication facility or something, you can have that also.
Yes. The company actually I'm going to, they have a large fabrication department, and I haven't seen what they're doing and how they're doing things right now, but certainly I've got that on mind if we ever need to upgrade, if we need that type of equipment there. I've certainly got him in mind as well. So yeah, great occupational type machine as well. Do you ever run your Broadbeck in reverse?
Occasionally, not very often though.
Gotcha.
But yeah, one of the great things about that OSHA guarding too, it's one of the only guarded machines you don't have to like open a door or something to try to put your belt in. There's no guards you have to take off to change out your belt. So
that's pretty cool.
What do you have on your hand? What's on your right hand, Kyle?
Little fidget knuck thing. Made by one of the good friends, Chef Craig.
Yeah.
It's one of Dan's buddies. Chef Craig gave it to me at Blade Show this past year. So I keep it on my desk. It doesn't make any noise, so you can play with it, fidget with it. It's unlike somebody like clicking a pin.
I got you. It's kind of like a brass. It's kind of like brass knuckles, but it's a composite knuckle instead of knuckles. It's a composite knuckle.
Canvas micarta.
Yeah, it's just a knuckle, not knuckles.
Like knuckles, it's just brass knuckle.
Holy what?
Yeah, it's got like one of Dan's little 4-leaf clovers in there, or 4-leaf dogwoods.
So how's Dan doing? Did y'all talk about the last podcast?
A little bit.
Good.
Yeah,
I'm
we're
not
good.
trying to get Jerry Springer here. I'm just saying that there were a lot of what do you
A
call
lot of
those?
bleeps.
Bleeps.
Duke
But
kabooms. There are a lot of Duke
Kaboom.
kabooms.
There was
here's
some
what I want to
goats.
bring up is because you have the most cool bleeps I've ever heard out there. You're just not like wah, or other people do. Yours
Mhm.
actually are entertaining. You have entertaining bleeps. I almost enjoy them.
Yeah. I have a whole folder full of them. Yeah,
That's
some of those are noises people have made on the podcast.
Okay.
A couple of them are Dylan Fletcher made a couple ones. There's some R2D2 bleeps. R2D2 is my favorite character. So, and I also love Duke
Yeah.
Kaboom. I like Duke Kaboom from Toy Story 4 when I saw the movie, and then hearing the whole story with Keanu Reeves about Duke Kaboom made me love that character even more. So, if you're not familiar, Keanu Reeves is one of his favorite movie series is Toy Story, and he's kind of that same age range where he kind of grew up with it. And they asked him for Toy Story 4 if he would voice Duke Kaboom, and it was just supposed to be the scene where he jumps over to the curio cabinet and gets Woody and Bo Peep over there, and Keanu wrote in all of the backstory of like not being able to jump as far on TV and how it's TV, it's a commercial, it's not real, and like having like PTSD about like he couldn't jump as far, and like the boy that got him for Canadian Boxing Day and stuff was so distraught and threw him away, and the writers loved it so much they're like we have to put this into the movie. So he actually wrote himself, or they asked him to do a voiceover, and then he wrote in more for the backstory and stuff. It was so funny.
Well, I was thinking just now. I had a little epiphany, and it's probably too long. But anytime he does that, you can borrow our clip of Otis here going, "I was a bad kid. I was a bad child." Whatever he says.
I may have to get that from you.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Do some
He'd have to
crossover
be on
bleeps.
Yeah, he'd have to. Yeah, if there's several together, you can put that in there.
Oh, I can just shift the whole thing.
True.
Some of those bleeps are a little bit longer than what he actually does, and I just shifted over a half a second or so. Put the whole bleep in there.
He's the biggest bleeping heart in knife making. He's a good man. It's almost just comical, but I know it adds a few hours to your day. So enjoy.
Yeah. I had the Laren episodes. I know he's or though some of those times when you interview different people and you talk about different topics and stuff, this is the potential for a podcast to like reach a lot more people that don't normally tune in and listen. Laren hasn't done a whole lot with podcasts and talking about ProCut and Magnamax and stuff like that. When we were one of the first podcasts that came out where he was talking about MagnaCut, that's been one of our highest listened to podcasts because there wasn't a whole lot of information out there other than his like Knife Steel Nerds article. So you hear some of these and you have the potential, and like when I posted it, like the last time I checked, I think it was like over 350 likes on Instagram for the collaboration posts, and usually when I post and it gets like, I don't know, 50 or 60 likes for whatever episode picture. Yeah, that one got some good ones, and that one was pretty cool for me because that was a knife that Ira and I collaborated on for Blade Show.
Right.
And I had some MagnaCut, some 154 CM, and some AEBL in there. And I talked to Laren a little bit before I heat treated it, and he was like, "I'm kind of skeptical if that's going to stay together with all the different steels expanding, contracting." But it turned out really well. Yeah, I was, and I was like, well, I'm too far in now, so we're going to see it through. It turned out really great. And using Coy Baker's Gator Piss line, the Gator Piss Max was the stainless etchant that really worked well. Got to see a lot of the banding and stuff in the 154 too, which was really cool. Yeah, it was really neat. It's a cool
Did
project.
you have you ground on any of that Damasteel yet?
I have not.
Right.
I've been I had a big batch of knives that I'm kind of getting ready for Christmas. So
yeah.
Those expensive knives are fun to make, but they don't usually sell extremely well. And coming up to Christmas and stuff, I wanted to get some more CPM 154 knives made. So I've been working on that big batch. So I just got those heat treated, but I definitely want to. And I've got about, I don't know, $600 worth of steel that I'm getting ready to send to Ira. So he's going to do his Madman stainless welding and
nice.
make up some more Damascus. He says he's having a lot of fun doing it. So
hey,
awesome.
We're gonna have to do a system check here. Do y'all hear my air conditioner running?
No, because
Good.
my air conditioner is too loud.
No, I can hear it in my headphones. I was sweating.
I still have
up there.
washing machine in mine. I can't hear you.
Yeah, I don't hear your washing machine. Yeah, I was starting to sweat, and I was like, I got to turn that back down. So good. I can see it registering on my audio, but it's not that loud. So anyway, and we're back.
Yeah, I've got a little fan under my desk.
Episode,
I'll send you the link.
Oh, good. That's why I have a little fan. I can't remember the brand. They make all kinds of stuff, but it's a little USB fan that sits on my desk that blows air at work. I got to get one there, like $20. But let me tell you guys about New Jersey Steel Baron. You can find them at NewJerseySteelBaron.com. They're delivering high quality steel for your blades, any kind of steel you want. They've been around since 2010, so I can tell you they know what they're doing. Not only do they offer steel, they have water jet services, heat treating, and much, much more. You can find them at NewJerseySteelBaron.com. BARON.com. There you go.
Nice.
Yeah.
The
fan that I got is the Dreo DREO fan for bedroom, and it says it's or extra quiet fan. So it's been pretty nice.
I have a barn fan in my bedroom. I need a hurricane at night. I don't care how, and I need the noise too. So.
Yeah, I've got a big air mover fan in mine also, but yeah.
And that's an addiction. Once you get hooked on a big fan in your bedroom, you can't sleep without it. And you go to a hotel, you go to the beach on vacation, and you don't have your fan. You're like, and if you never had that fan, would you have missed it? But I tell you what, fans are a chemical addiction. What? Yeah, they're a chemical addiction. It's the microplastics.
So talking about useful tools, I just got a new tool last month that I finally used for the shop.
And
seasoned knife maker transition or not?
Yeah, well played.
All right.
One of these?
No, but I should have got one of those when I had the opportunity at.
I bought a push tool at KHDailyKnives.com.
There you go.
Push stick.
But I have in my shop the most dangerous tool I've heard. If anybody, do you know what that is? The most dangerous tool?
Bottle of bourbon?
No. Actually, it's an actual knife making
buffer.
Buffers get the reputation.
You get a
that's right.
buffer. I've seen VFD buffers coming out recently.
I've been using, when I buff my handles, I had just some of those drill press auger buffers, that I just stick in my drill press and do that. And I was like, they're small, and then it just, I was like, I want a separate buffer. So I went and got the Harbor Freight Bauer buffer that had the long, it's got the extended maybe 6 or 8 inch, I don't know, spindles on them, so you can actually get on the inside of your buffer and not hit the buffing unit. and it was great. It was much nicer than using it, but I could see clearly how if you put that at the wrong angle, it could catch and pull it out of your hand or something. So does a great job, but yeah, especially if you have one of the more powerful ones, like I don't know how many horsepower it is, but like probably a half horsepower or something. It's pretty low for the Bauer, but if you had one that's like a horsepower or more, it can toss that thing into a wall, or into a leg.
I've got a 3/4 horsepower one, and it's pretty powerful when you kick it on. It's actually a two speed, so it's you flip the switch down, it's like 1800 RPM, and then if you flip it up, it's 3600 RPM.
Nice.
That's really nice.
I think this one's 16. So it wasn't super high speed, which it's about right, because my drill press, if I have a variable speed drill press, and if I push it all the way up, I think I get like 1600 out of it, and so that's pretty close to what I've been using. So,
well, if you go to Phoenix Abrasives, you get a Scotch-Brite wheel, one of those deburring convolute wheels for the other side of your buffer. That's how I round over and deburr all those stuff. So like when you're profiling your knives, you can hit it on that wheel just really lightly, and it takes off that burr and just rounds it over ever so slightly, so you don't worry about cutting your fingers and stuff.
Nice.
It's they're a little expensive depending on where you get them from. I really like the 8-inch diameter, and on Phoenix, I think theirs is a 6-inch.
Yeah, there's a 6-inch. Because I did just look at them not too long ago.
Yeah,
but I thought they were like $40, right? $40-something for the 6-inch, or
something like that. I'm looking it up now. So, I go through like maybe 2 a year, and I use them extensively. So, yeah, they're great.
Awesome.
My buffer is not fancy. My buffer is a old Craftsman 2-wheel stone grinder, like bench grinder that I took the stones off of and put buffing wheels on.
Hey, nice. All right.
That's my buffer. But about the only thing I buff is fittings. Like I'll do stainless bolsters buffed out sometimes, or I rarely use it for. I mean, I'll bump a handle on there real quick at the end once in a while, but I'm not a big buff guy. I don't know why.
Yeah, but it's not really a buff, or that wheel specifically, but like when you like do your kind of like rocking back and forth with a slack belt to round over the spine, and then you can take that wheel and go like this, and you just get it finishes it so nicely, and you get rid of like the kind of harder edge.
I'm not gonna lie,
and then
Kyle,
also like in the choil that works really well too.
I'm not gonna lie. One of the first times I looked at Kyle's knives, I was like, "Wow, that rounded over section is really cool." It stood out to me as a nice feature.
I do that because of this knife, the Sabenza 21, that has the rounded spine.
Gotcha.
Chris Reeve knives.
You sent me over to their booth just to look at that.
Yeah, the Sabenza is a super, super nice knife. I saved up for like 4 years to buy this one, but I got the large Sabenza 21. At the time, it was like $430, $440, something like that. It was one of my more expensive knife purchases. Now, lots of times I have some knives that are retail price more expensive than that, but I've done some trading and horse trading for stuff. So
yeah,
turns out you can trade Micarta pretty easily with a knife maker.
There you go.
Yeah, I think if the government ever sees that there's a shortage of micarta and they need to figure out what's going on so they can get up, I have a feeling that Secret Service or somebody will show up at your house ready to take all of yours.
Here's another one for you, Jason.
Oh, okay.
You recognize that logo at all?
Yeah.
So when I got my probationary membership, Les Adams made this one. I got it from him at the Kentucky show when I didn't even know it was a Knife Makers Guild show when I was there until after. But he does this really cool, he did this really interesting lock bar that has a cutout into the handle. So it's kind of like a liner lock, but the sand and stuff can't get in there. And that was why he did the lock that way for the guys that were using the knife because he's explosives in Dade County there.
Yep.
And they would deploy their knife to do whatever they needed to do when they had all this explosive gear on, and it would get packed with sand in the liner lock and stuff like that. And then they couldn't unlock it to make the knife safe. So then they were just kind of like throwing the knife to the side or kind of shoving it in a makeshift sheath like pocket. So he made a bunch of those, and I bought one of them. I think he said he only made like 30 of these.
What kind of knives are you and Kyle going to make us, Jason, if we're fortunate enough to get in this go around or the next go around? I mean,
I don't know. I mean, I could take one of those the shiny plastic butter knives and see if I could put a matte finish on it. Sandblast it. That's what it is. Yeah. I'll take those crystal clear cutlery ones. You know,
there you go.
Something like that's probably about right.
Very nice. It's very nice. I was going to say Otis Pinto did a really nice job of rounding over his spines as well. He's really conscious when he does that. So,
it's something that I don't think you fully appreciate until you use one. I've done the rounded over spine on a handful of like Hinkles and stuff. Because like the people they're like, can you sharpen a knife? I'm like, yeah. And so I sharpened some knives this past weekend, and the person brought I don't know 10 knives. And then he only pulled out 4 of them, and he's like, I'll just have you sharpen these 4. And I'm like, I'll sharpen all of them. And he goes, they're not nice enough to sharpen. I'm like, any knife is nice enough to sharpen. Like, I don't know why people, Jason, maybe you've experienced this too. They're like ashamed of the knives that they have. I'm like, they still cut and cooking for your family and stuff.
There you go.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
and you know, and I know that it takes 4 more seconds to sharpen 10 than it does to sharpen 3. You still got to change the belt the same amount of times. I mean, not quite, but you know what I'm saying. Like if if I'm laying them all out, it doesn't take. It's inconsequential.
I did them all on diamond stones.
Oh yeah, never mind. Then that takes a long time.
but yeah, it was still good. So, I mean, it's took me 45 minutes. So wasn't that long. And then I even like one of them had a broken tip on the front, and so I'm like, you want me to fix that? And he's like, can you? And I'm like, it like literally took like 1 minute, and he's like, this is awesome.
Yeah.
So
it's now a drop point.
Well, it was like a Santoku kind of looking thing, so it's has a little bit more steeper round over.
No problem.
A little more.
Yeah, his mother-in-law dropped it on the kitchen floor and broke the tip off. So
oops.
Yeah, he's like,
Did you look at the grain?
Yeah, it was fine. It was really thin. You couldn't hardly even see it up there at the front. It was a Japanese knife that was super thin. So
Genzu?
He said he doesn't like using it very much. No, it was actually like some sort of high carbon Damascus.
Oh wow!
But he said he doesn't like using it because it just chips a lot on him. So
yes, it's super hard.
Yeah. Right, so he loves the MagnaCut Chef and MagnaCut paring knife that he bought. So yeah, there's interesting guy.
That brings me to, you need to go over to KH Daily Knives. You can see it at khdailyKnives.com. He's got all kinds of good stuff, but if you're a knife maker, why would you want to go look at his knives? Well, he's a great knife maker, number one, but number two, he's got buddies all over the place, and his buddies are the most useful things in the world. And not only his buddies, his tools that he gives other names as well. This past week, I was cutting off a lot of pen stock, you call that the sled buddy, or what is that called again? I apologize.
Just pin cutting sled. I was pretty generic on that one.
It was my buddy this weekend. I sat and cut up, and I was so impressed that I maximized the amount of pin material coming out of a certain piece. So I went and posted a picture online and said, "Look at this," because I really was impressed. So you guys go out to khdaily.com and also see some of the tools he has. He is great, and he doesn't ship from Istanbul, Turkey. He ships from Chicago, so that means he's right in the middle of the country and he can get anywhere very quick.
Yeah. I've been pressing up a bunch of these. I really have been liking the pin, handle alignment pins. I used to make these kind of as like a service to some of the people that asked me to make them, and they were pretty expensive because they took a while. I was cutting the micarta tubes, and then I would epoxy them on, and then I'd round them on go down the two belt sanders, and then my disc grinder, and then to the buffer. It was a whole little roundabout circle thing. And it would take me way longer than it should have to make them. But then, a few months ago, I got the idea to 3D print the little caps, and they got a really tight press fit on there, and the little outsides have some little ribs so they don't roll on your workbench, kind of like the other ones. And you also have some grip when you kind of twist them. Sometimes if the hole's tight, you need a little twist to help pull them in and out.
Right.
But I pressed up a whole bunch of those getting ready for the holiday season, and that one, hoping to push those a little bit more and help people to not waste any handle material because I get from how many, or I use like 7 pins in my handles, and everybody's like, how do you get that to line up? And I'm like, I drill a hole, put a pin, drill a hole, put a pin, drill a hole, put a pin. And they just blows their mind. They're like, I can barely get 2 or 3 pins to line up. I'm like, well, I don't really know how you only do that. But
do a lot of folder guys use those? Folder guys purchase those from you as well?
I think folders have like if you're doing good folders, there's like this jig. And when I was at Jason Holtz's, house, he just this past weekend, he showed me this jig he bought because he's starting to do folders now. And he said, yeah, this is a medium one, and it was like $800, but I mean, It's got pins, and everything is like super precise to get it to line up right. I don't know. You probably could do it cheaper than that, with normal pins, but he said this makes it nice.
There are quite a few different folder building jigs. Jantz carries a good variety of them. The basic one is what they call a Rupel jig. It's just a rise and fall indicator that helps you set your the back of your slip joints so that everything lines up right. Those are not too complex, but then I know that I've seen like one that Bill Kennedy designed that's got 69 holes in it or something. It's all crazy. It makes French fries. It's really pretty serious.
That may be the one that Mark was talking. Josh had
probably
where
so.
It has like 3 different little pucks that you can rotate around and tighten the bottom. Yeah.
Are yours?
So that's really nice.
Are they empirical or metric or both?
They're freedom mutants.
Freedom mutants.
They're 1/8 inch, 3/16, and quarter inch.
Oh, so that's a good question though. Are they are they undersized, oversized, or exact to those?
Yep, they're 2 size. They're supposed to be within plus or minus 0.2 of a thousandth. And I use an oversized drill bit because when I order my rod, it comes in at size, and then I usually put it in a drill and rough up the outside so it makes it marginally smaller. So I don't want the pin to be, I want it to be as close to the actual pin size that I'm having, because if those pins go in and out easily, I know glue up's going to be a breeze.
That's right. Yeah.
So
gotcha. I had a guy today ask me, do to grab him the metric adjustable wrench. I looked at him kind of funny. And I'm like, yeah, right. I'm not going to get you the metric adjustable wrench. He goes, yeah, it's over on the table. I said, I'll go get you that adjustable wrench. But I said, I know it's not metric. And when I brought it back over to him, he said, turn it over and look at it. And damn if the thing didn't have metric measurements on the backside of it where you turned it over.
Oh, because that's right. You could see the little units.
Yeah,
that's fine.
They'd put unit markings on it for metric on one side and empirical on the other. You call those what? Freedom units.
Freedom units.
Yeah. Okay. Freedom units on one side and metric on the other. And I thought, man, I got to have one of those. He didn't know where he got it. So I'm going to look for one. Probably you can find anything on Amazon though.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've seen Milwaukee has some of those where they're marked so that if you're using the adjustable wrench and you need to get like an actual wrench, you can flip it over, look at what size wrench you need, and
kind of figured a metric adjustable wrench was sort of like a blinker fluid or prop wash.
Yeah, I thought it would be a joke. Yeah. You're telling there's a reason for
we
this?
did all those.
Yeah.
I'll have to tell you about the echo check at some point.
The echo check? Nice. You might as well tell us now.
We're already here, man.
All right. So anytime you have new guys in, you just like everywhere else. I mean, it's not like hazing, but we goof around with new mechanics in there, and so this was when I was enlisted. And one of the things that you'd always do, a bunch of different. You said, hey, go get some flight line, go get some K9P out of the. All the things, but that's right. It's like, oh, go get some of that K9P lubricant. He's like, oh, okay, I need some K9P. He's like, the kennel's over there. But one of the things you tell them is like, hey, you bring them out to an aircraft and say that, hey, one of the tests that we have to do is we have to check the engine blades for cracks. And although there's an in-depth process to tear everything down, the easiest way to do is this echo check. And so you yell in the front, and then you have this meter at the back, and then how the sound goes through there. It'll tell you if any blades are cracked. I said, so just for ease of use, everybody just says echo check, right? And so we bring this guy out here to try to do this, and said, come on, yell in the front and say echo check, and then you just keep telling him, no, louder. Well, the funniest thing was, there was this guy out there that wasn't even part of the, we were not trying to do a gag, but he didn't know about it. So finally he's like, you mustn't be doing it loud enough. So he pushed the other airman out of the way, and he starts yelling into the inlet as loud as he can, yelling, echo check. And everybody in the whole flight line's looking around like cracking up because everybody knows what he's doing. And, but yeah, finally it's, yeah, but I mean, you set it up really good because you get some multimeter out there and said that, hey, you got to go and how the sound reflects off the blades, so yeah,
that's pretty good.
Yeah, you got to set it up good.
One of the great ones in the restaurant industry I've heard is you take a plunger and you tell them to check to make sure the tiles are tight. So they're like plunging all the
tiles. That's classic.
Well, back to knife making stuff for a second. The Rupel jig, is that named after Bill, or was that something else?
No, that's named after Bill. He popularized using a dial indicator.
Okay.
They will call it a rise and fall indicator some places.
Yeah.
It's Rupel jig other places.
Yeah. So for the people that don't actually know, on the slip joint where there's that back spring to make sure it's flush in the like half open and all the way open position, it kind of puts a dial indicator on that top edge. So as you open it, you can read numbers engineering style, and make sure that it's perfectly flat and the same in all three of those locations.
Yep. It's a useful tool. So I have one of the Jantz ones, and I did a little demonstration video kind of showing how to use it. Mostly just because I do videos, not because I'm a superb, excellent slip joint guy. But I made him a little demo video for it. They asked me if I would do one for the Kennedy jig with 99 holes. And I said, that's beyond my pay grade. I said, find a real slip joint maker. Not that I don't make a real slip joint, but there are guys that can max out a jig like that. I'm not that guy.
Is that the one for like milling the bolster front and back?
Well, I did a video. They had a little tool plate like that. That's just It looks sort of like a 3-2-1 block, just with holes in it, but it's a bunch of threaded holes so that you can clamp like a fixture, kind of. I've tried to use it for milling integral slip joint bolsters, and it's not quite there for what it. Maybe it's because I'm not a good milling guy. Like I learned by trial and error. I'm good at error, not that good at.
Yeah, I thought there was one where the like holes are kind of like start like vertical and they kind of like go out at like a 45, and they're all kind of like a wing.
The Kennedy one has some of that set up.
Okay.
Like I say, I've used a couple of their little tool plates to try to do some milling stuff like that.
Talking about slip joints might be a good time to say, if it still goes through, because I know there's a little bit of scheduling conflict possibly, is that in the October meeting of the South Alabama Custom Knife Makers Guild, Josh Howard is supposed to be the lead presenter, and he's going to be talking and showing slip joints. So if anybody happens to be down, keep an eye on the Facebook site for the South Alabama Guild, and if you're in the area and you see that coming up next month, then we'd love to see you.
Y'all get y'all some oil in a pot and a thermometer, and y'all tell Josh to bring down some catfish, because my gosh, that man can make catfish. It is delicious.
I think the other Josh, you can't, this Josh is everywhere, right? You can't swing a knife maker without hitting a Josh.
Right.
But I think he's taking him out on his boat. So I don't know if that's before or after the event, but who knows?
Well,
we might have something.
Howard's become quite the fisherman these days. He spends a lot of time catfishing out on the Tennessee River. Hey guys, speaking of Tennessee, Clark Iron Forge, Clark Taplin, he's moved his shop over out there where we're going to have Clark stock here next year, but you can go to clarkironforge.com. He makes a series of hydraulic presses that make a real difference and at great affordable prices. If you're looking for a really good press, I have one myself. You can get a 1725 or 40 ton press at a really good price. Go out and check them out. I think it's gone up about $200. So I bought mine. I think it's about $4,200 for a 25 ton press. Check the website to make sure the pricing is right. And I believe it was about $700 to ship. But if you go pick it up, you don't pay the shipping. So go out and check out clarkironforge.com. Mark, what you got going on the next?
From having to make a crate too.
Oh gosh, and he does such a good job.
He said he doesn't like making the crate
because he does such a good job. I mean, you could put the crate on the side of your shop and make it into another room. He does some really good work. VMAX, what you got going on the next couple of weeks?
Well, so a couple things. Right now, so I finished up those knives. They're just kind of sitting inside in a temperature controlled drawer so they don't rust, with VMAX knife wax on them. And but I'm working on right now. I'm starting because I try to make a custom bead for the lanyard made out of the same material as the handle material is made out of for each of the knives, and so So I'm getting that set up, and so it is definitely the ghetto setup. I have my Fordham tool, and I have a screw that I put through a piece of the handle material, and I lock it in my Fordham tool, and I put it against my 2x72, and that's my mill / lathe. So, but cool. It works pretty good. I was actually thinking about buying one. If you ever look on Amazon, they have those like $30 bead lathes, and they're like super cheap, but really I was almost thinking for what I needed for that might be more useful than trying to do the Fordham tool hookup. So I was thinking about looking at one of those, but so I'm doing that. And then I am the other major thing I'm going to be doing through the weekend is beading on steel. Now that there is the so I got my first, I guess, I've beat on steel and made some, non-knife type objects, but now that I got the 2-burner forge and, the anvil and everything, and Josh Holtz kind of gave me, an open forge lesson of pounding out some good knife shapes. So I'm going to practice that a lot more. and really trying to get ready because coming up in October is the Pecan Festival down here somewhere in South Alabama. And so the guild is going to help out with that for the 3 days of doing like live forging demos. And so Josh is like, hey, I can't do all 3 days of being out there. So he asked me to take a day. So I gotta get good or semi good pretty quick.
That's wonderful. But I also want to let you know that if you get a VVOR, you can get the 2.76 by 6.3 inch mini bead lathe for only $41.96. Comes with all the tools.
How much is it?
$41.96.
That's good. Oh, here, sit.
Yeah, it comes with all the lathe tools as well, and little.
Is it on Amazon or is it on? You have to get it on VVOR.
No, it's on Amazon. I'll send a link to you right now.
Yeah.
Hey, did you ever get to use that etching machine yet? Have you tried it?
I haven't because the all the blades I had were etched, and so I tell myself I try to say because I get distracted really easy, right? And so I finally decided, it's like, listen, I am not doing a new thing until I finish these knives because they've just been sitting there too long. And so that is all I am doing. Like, that's why I'm not, because I was going to go out and start pounding on steel and messing with the forge. I said, nope, not even starting it up until these are done. Sheaths, knives, beads, everything. And so, I need to get it all done. So I haven't tested it out yet.
You'll be fine. But I helped you with that. You're going to get a bead lathe, and you'll be very quick at it because you'll have all the tools and everything.
Yeah,
Jason, what's going on in Texas? I miss Texas. I don't be able to travel out to Texas like I used to.
Yeah.
I really do miss Texas.
I found out yesterday that my youth minister at the church where I'm going now used to raise chickens for your old company.
I used to do stuff for my old company too.
Yeah, exactly. But no, I was just looking at the calendar. So our next recording opportunity is going to be right before Blade West, which is October, I think, 10th and 11th.
Right.
That Friday and Saturday. I'm actually going out there to visit and politic and shake hands and represent the Knife Makers Guild and do things.
So I can send that memo of send my memo of my knives out there so that you can approve them at Blade West, or
yeah, I don't think this can work that way.
All right, well, go ahead. Go ahead.
But yes, so I'll be going out to Blade West. I'll probably have a puck of Templar stickers. I still have a few left from the last order. Be out circulating at Blade Show. Say hi if you listen. Meet you.
Good deal.
I've never been to Salt Lake. No, there's no meetings or anything. No,
okay.
I'm kind of scouting. Honestly, the guild is always looking for opportunities to increase our reach and increase our business.
Right.
We have organized stuff at Blade, Texas, and at Blade in Atlanta. So part of the reason to go is to see if there's potential there, interest.
Yeah,
good deal.
Salt Lake City's nice.
And if you're in Salt Lake, you can call in from the show. Yeah, I was going to say you can call in and record on your phone.
I'm going to be on a plane. I'm going to be on a plane Thursday night.
Okay. Well, that's fine. That's
sorry.
Fine. That's fine. You could pay $300 and be connected to the plane Wi-Fi for $300.
I could.
But we're not.
I guess, but we're not.
I never opted in for paying for the Wi-Fi. So,
did you miss the part where I don't have a knife shop? Like, my side hustle is really slow.
Yeah.
I ain't spending $300 on nothing right now except for metal building.
The new shop, yeah. So, Kyle, what you got going on?
I'm just hustling to trying to get ready for Christmas and stuff like that. Got my wife's birthday coming up at the end of October. One of the things we've been working on is there's a fall clinic for the Midwest Knife Makers Guild in Atlas Knife and Tool in Des Moines, Iowa. October 25th, which is my wife's actual birthday. And so I will not.
And she always wanted to go to Atlas.
Hey, you're not going
for her birthday.
Yeah, the last couple of years, it's been like either on her birthday or the weekend that we're doing her party. So, Yeah. So, but there's going to be some good presenters there. I think Bob Gore is going to be talking about some stuff. Charles from Atlas Knife and Tool is going to be talking some about his laser welder, which I am like super jealous of. He's been using it to weld a lot of stainless steel stuff. There's a lot of cool products that Charles is possibly going to be kicking down the road. One of the ones he's been working on for a while is a hydraulic press that's all out of 304 stainless. And my engineer,
just because,
yeah,
wow.
Well, yeah. Well, there's a couple benefits. You can go a little bit lighter on the material.
Okay.
So you can move it around a little bit easier, and you don't have to worry about any of the corrosion and stuff like that. Lots of our knife makers and stuff have outdoor shops. So this was something that Charles, you can not have to worry about anything rusting if it were to get rained on or stuff like that too. So, but yeah, it'll be October 25th. The whole day. There'll be a lot of good makers there, and just always like to give our Midwest Guild a plug also.
For sure.
Yeah, they do some good stuff. I mean, when I hear all the events and stuff that and the folks you have to the different hammer-ins and stuff, it's a good guild.
Yeah, we do like
fraternity of guys.
5 events and the show. So we got the Twin Cities Knife Show that's going to be this weekend. If you're not already going there, you're probably going to miss it. But it's tomorrow and Saturday in Bloomington, Minnesota. If you're interested, that one's always a good one. Also, yeah, we do a spring, a winter, and the hammer-in and a fall clinic.
If y'all dressed up, Mark and his wife would come. They like to dress up. Yes, they like to dress up.
Yeah, I believe we've figured out who's going to be our presenter for the hammer-in this next year. Derek Melton and Brett Olnick are going to be our two main presenters. So Derek Melton's from down by you guys.
Did I make the top 3? Was I make the top 3 or 5 on the list though?
No, your name didn't come up. Sorry. But yeah.
Well, my name did come up last week on the evangelism committee at church, so I was selected for something.
Awesome. That's a good one. But yeah, excited to learn some of the stuff. Derek's going to be talking and doing some hammer forging stuff, or forging with the hammer, some of his different how he moves the metal and stuff like that. And then if you're not familiar with Brett Olnick, sorry, I'm saying his last name wrong. He's Burning Sky Forge on Instagram. He's been doing a lot with crucible steel using a induction forge. So making his own steel using a 25 kilowatt induction forge from coal iron, and melting it down, making his own mix, reclaiming steels, stuff like that.
Oh, wait, did you talk about that on not your Laren Thomas podcast, but the one before that, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I had him on recently.
Yeah. That was a good podcast.
Thank you.
Well, because you mentioned my name, so I listened to it. So
nice.
No, but it was a good podcast. It was interesting.
Thank you. Yeah, that was a fun one. He's over in South Bend, so not too far away. So there's a bunch of people that I need to make an effort to go see. He's one of them. Yeah.
I'm looking up Melton Forge Works. Is that who it is? Derek Melton?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Nice stuff.
Yeah, Derek does a ton on social media. He makes these stake turners out of railroad spikes.
Yeah, I was looking at those.
He gets the internet to light on fire, poking holes in meat, and anytime he cooks a steak, he gets probably 300 or 400 comments. People telling him he's doing it wrong.
Who else
and he just keeps posting it more and more. So
yeah, Neil Kamamura and Jeff Fader. Anytime they cook something, I love it. I'll sit and watch the whole thing. They just got a really talent with that as well on social media.
Yeah. if you're not following Derek, his stories are pretty insightful too. He really likes using the meta glasses with like kind of doing a first person view. Yeah, and he does some really good shop stuff, and being able to see some of his processes and stuff. He's not trying to hide any of it, which has been really great. He's one of the good people that I've met him a handful of times at Blade Show, and I'm really excited. Hopefully, I believe we're moving the hammer in a little bit closer to the beginning of August, so it won't be quite up on the school start time. So shouldn't have a problem going up there.
Good
It's
for
been
you.
like right
Good
at the
for you.
start of school, so being the person that my wife's a teacher, so she can't not do the stuff at the start of school. So
Yeah. Well, be sure and you guys always have like really great foods and desserts at all these birthday gatherings you have. Hey, Jason, you were fizzing there just a second. Hold that pose.
Was I?
I don't know what it's called. You were
sorry.
just fizzing, brother. Anyway,
weird.
You were fizzing. The little staticky. But anyway, y'all have great food and desserts, so I would do that rather than head to a knife event.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Guys, next couple of weeks, I'll be settling into my new role. Be able to get up at 6 a.m. instead of 5 a.m. now, and roll back into that, maybe get back into some knife making, because it's been a journey. I need to finish up this knife I've started right now, and after the after show, I've got some questions for you regarding sanding steel. So hold that thought in case my 60-and-3/4-year-old mind forgets what I wanted to talk about. But with all that being said, guys, we thank you for joining us for the Season Podcaster episode 90. And if you have questions or comments, product reviews, show guest ideas, subscribe or email us at the knivestemplars@yahoo.com. Certainly send us a DM on Facebook in the Knives Templars podcast group. Visit Knives Templars podcast at knivestemplars.com to always stay up to date. Our episode is sponsored by New Jersey Steel Baron, TR Maker, Clark Iron Forge Casting Crafts, Ameribraid Pops Knife Supplies, Even Heat Maritime Knife Supply, and Phoenix Abrasives for Templars 10 off your order. We are also sponsored by Broadback Ironworks, KH Daily Knives. Did I say New Jersey Steel Baron? If I didn't, I'm saying it now. Yeah, I think I said that at the beginning. So you can hear us on iHeartRadio, Spotify, Apple Podcast, YouTube Music, Anchor, Amazon, YouTube Video, and CastBox. See us on Facebook, guys, and this is the point where you guys are either going to say goodnight or oinky, 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 so I'll leave it up to you.
Oinky, oinky, oinky.
Oinky, oinky.
Tranquility Base here. The Eagle has landed.
Brought to you by PORKHouse Productions. Oinky, oinky, oinky.
There you go.
Oinky, oinky, oinky. Yep. It's amazing. I guess oinky, oinky, oinky is a thing because you guys went with oinky, oinky, oinky. I'm quite impressed, unless you're just saving good night
in
for the end of
unison,
this.
nonetheless.
What's that?
Said in unison, nonetheless, more or less.
That's right.
You did a great job. So,
we could have each took an oinky, like oinky, oinky, oinky.
Okay, let's do that now.
If we time it like that.
We'll do four.
Do we want to do a
oinkies.
do re mi? Also do oinky, 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 like like the Cleverleys or something,
or like 1950s radio. But hey, what I do want to say is, Kyle, I did it. I was using old show notes, and I had our sponsors mixed up on it from an old note. And you had told me about old show notes this week, so I've got to get that and use new ones next time. So anyway, I will say this very quickly before we go any further. trmaker.com, Even Heat Kilns, Pops Knife Supplies, Phoenix Abrasives, and 10% off with Templars 10 at checkout. Broadback Ironworks, New Jersey Steel Baron, Clark Iron Forge, and the great KH Daily at khdailyKnives.com. There, we got them. Guys, I had one question for you. I'm working on a knife right now, and this is one of my guild knives, and I noticed I got that crazy, whenever I clean epoxy off the front of the handle, I always draw out towards the blade, but I did something that had something in it, and I created that little round around the handle there, a little scratch in it. And there's also some little ghost scratches in it. And I'm like, well, I've got the handle glued on. Is this just going to become a knife, or is it going to become a guild blade? What's the best way to go into that knife and clean all that up? Dun, dun, dun,
So I'll tell you what I do, because I've now it wasn't for my guild knives, but I have a piece of micarta that I ground to like a really like a wedge, a really kind of a sharp wedge, and I cut a piece of Scotch-Brite pad in half so it's thinner, and I wrap it around that edge. And I get it in the very corner and do pulls. And I had to do like 1,000 pulls. And so that seems to, because I have done that exact same thing. And I'm like, oh, which is why my next set of knives, I have gussel fasteners, gussel bolts. Is that what you call them? You know, so there's little
Corby
basically,
bolts?
well, they're kind of like Corby bolts, but they actually, you don't ground the top off. They actually... I think they're called gusso bolts. Yeah.
Okay.
And so I bought a whole bunch of those, and I'm using on my next set, because my plan is I'm going to, do all the knife scales while it's on, then I'm going to take them off, and then you get that final finish on the knife to make sure it's perfect before you screw on your handle scales. And so I'm going to try that. But yes, I've done that. And so that's what I do, is I have this, it's dedicated just for that. And I cut a little piece of that gray Scotch-Brite in half, and then it's really thin, and I just do these, little pulls from the very corner of the front of my scale.
Tape the front of the handle so the Scotch-Brite doesn't go into it. And then
that's right. And I do that.
Drawing it out.
Mm-hmm.
So
that's why we were all so silent there, Chip, is because that's a friggin' impossible thing. Like, you take that knife and you stab it in your head, and that's easier than fixing it.
You grind the scales off, right?
I was waiting for that. Yeah, just grind your scales off and resand.
So I do kind of like Mark. Like, I'll use a razor blade or utility knife blade, something again very thin and very pointy, and just fold a piece of sandpaper over it tight. Try to do it that way.
That's actually a good idea too.
It works okay. Works okay.
I'm going to use as light
1,000 pulls is probably almost enough.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm going to start with as light a grit as possible, and just kind of. And if I have to work up a little bit, I can. But that's what I planned on doing. I actually have a piece of deer antler that I've ground off to a sharp point like that. But I'll probably take a piece of micarta and grind it down to a sharp point where I can fold something over and just kind of put it in there and just keep pulling.
I wonder, this is hypothetical, could you take a stone, like a die maker stone or the tool and die stones that we use sometimes, and grind a sharp edge on that?
I've got those, and that's a possibility.
The trick is it doesn't leave the same scratches as sandpaper.
Right.
It might be a way. I am making this up. It might be a terrible idea, but like if you went with a pretty fine stone, then you could rub out your scratches with a 600 and then go back to your 400 for your final. I don't know. I'm making stuff.
I'll tell you the problem I had
there that way. I just don't know if it would work very well.
Yeah, I couldn't get sandpaper to work well. Like, I tried, because that was my original plan, is that because sandpaper is super thin, right? Like, and so I figured if I wrapped it around there and I pulled it, but for some reason I still would see like the starting, like when you laid the pad down there, it would leave a little bit of line.
Yeah,
because
J hook,
right?
Yeah, like a little J hook. So that's why I went to the Scotch-Brite, and it just seemed like so I might have to try it again, because sandpaper would be more efficient because it would cut quicker. But I just couldn't get it not to give a little. Yeah, the J hook really right at the very, and then it leaves a J hook where you can't clean it.
Yeah, well, I also thought about going and getting some of those really fine automotive sanding sponges that you could kind of tape the front of it and push it up into the handle, drop it down, and pull it out from there. But I don't know if I can't get it out, I'll just have to make another knife. It's not a big deal, but I hate to lose that one because I really wanted it to be one of the four. But
here's another idea.
Yeah.
Oh no, you can't because it's wood, right? You have wood handle on it.
Yeah.
I was gonna say you could acid etch it and then tumble it.
I thought about that. I was like, but no, it's okay. I'll get it out to some degree, and if I can get it all out and make it very nice, perfect, I'll bring it. If not, I'll just do something with it and make another one. They're not hard to make. I know how to make them.
I hadn't thought about filleting a piece of Scotch-Brite. That's a good idea.
Mm-hmm. It is.
Listen at you, Mark. You're a visionary.
Mm-hmm.
I'm only because I do more error than trial, or how did it go? Jason,
I don't know. I did trial and error and got good at error anyway.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Well, creativity is all about making mistakes. There you go. Well, guys, I hope y'all have a blessed evening. And with that being said, we're going to tell everybody good night. We'll see you on the next episode of the Knives Templars podcast. Good night.
Yeah, good night, everybody.
Good night.
Oinky, oinky, oinky.
I've walked through valleys, shadows all around, lost in my own worries, couldn't find solid ground. I've made mistakes I can't outrun, but your grace shines brighter than the morning sun. I've fallen down, I've felt so small, wondered if I'd ever rise above it all. But in the quiet of a broken prayer, I found a peace that only you can share. Hands to heaven, reaching for your grace, lifting up these burdens that I can't erase. When the storms are raging and I'm feeling low, I find my shelter in the love you show. Through the trials and the tears I've cried, your mercy finds me where I try to hide. There were nights I thought I'd lose my way. Doubt and fear were all that I could say. But when I call upon your name, the darkness fades, I'm not the same. You've seen me at my weakest, held me through the pain, forgiven all the failures I can't seem to explain. Your love is like a river, steady, wide and true, flowing through the valleys, carrying me back to you. Hands to heaven, reaching for your grace, lifting up these burdens that I can't erase. When the storms are raging and I'm feeling low, I find my shelter in the love you show. Through the trials and the tears I've cried, your mercy finds me where I try to hide. Oh, your restores this tired and restless soul. When the weight gets heavy, I lift my hands to heaven.